Hello students, welcome back to the English class. Today I am going to explain the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. Stephen Spender was an English poet and an essayist. He took keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and a pacifist. Socialist is a person who believes in the theory that all natural resources and the means of production should be owned and controlled by the government. And pacifist is a person who believes that war is morally wrong and it should be avoided at all costs, and that all disputes should be settled peacefully. Stephen Spender in this poem deals with the themes of social injustice and class inequalities. He highlights the problems of the poor children living in slums. He feels that there are two worlds. One, the world of the poor children living in slums, and the other, the world of the rich. He feels that there is a huge gap between the two worlds, and this gap must be bridged. That is why the poet calls upon the government officials to come forward and help these children so that their conditions of living can be improved. Let us read the poem. Here, in the first stanza of the poem, the poet is describing the pathetic condition of the children who are sitting in a classroom. Just imagine that there is a classroom in front of you. This classroom is located in a slum, far, far from gusty waves. These children's faces. These children are sitting in a classroom which is situated far, far from gusty waves. Gusty waves means, gust means a sudden rush of wind. Gusty means something that blows suddenly. It means jhokedar, gusty waves. In other words, it means winds and sea waves. And we can also say that gusty means beautiful sights of nature. So this classroom where these children are sitting is far away from the beautiful sights of nature. These children's faces like rootless weeds. The poet has compared these children's faces with rootless weeds. Rootless weeds are wild plants that are unwanted and useless, and that grow in fields and gardens. Nobody wants them. People throw them out of their gardens and fields. So, like rootless plants, like rootless weeds, are unwanted in the garden. In the same way, these children are unwanted in the society. The hair torn round their pallor. These children are untidy. They are not neat and clean. Perhaps they haven't had bath for days. So they look untidy. They haven't combed their hair. So their hair is scattered all over their face. Pallor, their pallor. Pallor means paleness. Here pallor means pale faces of the children. So the hair is scattered all over their pale faces, and their pale faces look as if they have been torn apart. वो बाल उनके चेहरे पे बिखरे हुए हैं, तो ऐसा लगता है जैसे उनके चेहरे जो है कटे पीटे हों. Their faces look like they have been torn apart. The tall girl with her weighed down head. In the classroom, there is a tall girl who is keeping her head down. Her head is bent. Why? She is a big girl. She understands the problems of her life. That is why she is feeling depressed. She is feeling weighed down. She is feeling burdened by worries of her life. So she is keeping her head down. She is depressed. She is burdened with worries and poverty. The paper seeming boy with right size. There is a boy in the classroom who is so thin that he looks like a paper. Undoubtedly, he is malnourished. He doesn't get enough food to eat. And with right size, his eyes are look like those of rats. Why they look like those of rats? Because like rat size, his eyes are also bulging out. उसकी आंखें थोड़ी निकली हुई हैं, जैसे चूहे की निकली हुई होती हैं. So this boy's eyes are bulging out like those of rats. It shows that the boy is timid and like a rat and looks for food and security. The stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones. There is another boy who the poet describes as stunted. Stunted means the growth is blocked, not fully grown. This boy's growth is blocked. He is not fully grown. His growth is not developed. So this boy is called stunted. Unlucky heir of twisted bones. Just like the this boy is an heir of twisted bones. Unlike the rich boys, unlike the boys who belong to rich families and who are heir to wealth and property of their parents, these boys are heir to poverty, hunger and diseases of their parents. The stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones. The boy who is stunted, who is not fully grown, who is undeveloped, and who has inherited the twisted bones of his parents. Reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. This boy, what he is doing from his desk, he is not reciting any lesson. But recite means here enumerate, describe. He is not reciting any lesson from he is not reading any lesson. He is just enumerating his father's gnarled disease. That is his lesson from his desk. What it means? Gnarled disease. Gnarled disease means this is a disease of twisted bones. They look like knots on the hands. Gnarled disease is also called knotty disease because there are knots on the fingers and hands. Hands and fingers are deformed or twisted. So, reciting a father's gnarled disease. So this boy has inherited the twisted disease, the knotty disease of his father, and he is reciting, he is enumerating this disease of his father, sitting at his desk. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. There is another boy who is sweet and young. He is sitting at the back of the class. He is unnoted or unnoticed. And how is the classroom? The classroom is dim. Dim means not bright. A place where there is no sufficient light. The classroom is dim. Sitting in the dim classroom, one sweet and young and unnoticed boy. His eyes live in a dream. He is not paying attention to the classroom. He is full of dreams. His eyes are dreaming. What they are dreaming? His eyes live in a dream of a squirrel's game. His eyes are dreaming of a squirrel's game. In tree room. Tree room means a big hole in a tree. That is called hollow of a tree. In a tree room, what games squirrels are playing? Squirrels climb the tree and hide in the hollow of the tree. So the boy is dreaming of the squirrels who are climbing up the tree and hiding in the hollow of the tree, and then come out and then again go up. So he is dreaming of squirrels game. Other than this means other than this classroom. So this classroom is failed. Means this classroom is dim. The atmosphere of the classroom is dull and drab. So the dull and drab atmosphere of the classroom failed to arrest the attention of the boy. So he does not want to be in the class. He would have preferred to be outside the class, and that's why he is dreaming about squirrels games. Okay, so in this stanza, we can see that some poetic devices have been used. In the first line, far, far from gusty waves. Far, far, the same word is repeated 2 times. This is called repetition. This is a poetic device, repetition, when the same word is repeated more than once. And these children's faces like rootless weeds. Children are compared with rootless weeds. This is a simile. There may be some more figures of speech. On sour cream walls. This is the second stanza. The poet goes on to describe the classroom. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head. On sour cream walls, the poet here describes the wall of the classroom. The wall of the classroom is sour and cream. Cream means which is dull, and grey color, which is not painted. The walls of the classroom are not painted. They look like creamy and sour. That's why they present an atmosphere of unpleasantness. The walls of the classroom are dull, and they present an atmosphere of dullness and unpleasantness. So on such kind of wall, on the dull and unpleasant walls of the classroom, donations means things which are given in charity for free. So there are some donated items put up on the walls of the classroom. Shakespeare's head. There is a picture of Shakespeare hanging on the wall. All these things, the posters and the pictures that are hanging on the classroom, on the walls of the classroom, they are donated by rich people. There are some donated items, and there is a Shakespeare's portrait, cloudless at dawn. There is another picture which shows the morning sky as cloudless. There is another picture in which there is a scenery in which the morning sky is shown as cloudless. It is considered a good thing. Being cloudless is considered a good thing in that area. Civilized dome riding all cities. Civilized domes riding all cities. Domes means here domes of buildings. Civilized means in the civilized world. Domes of buildings in the civilized world. Riding all cities. They shine in cities. So in one of the pictures, there is a picture of domes of buildings that shine in cities. Build flowery Tyrolese valley. There is also a picture of the valley of Tyrol. Tyrolese valley means this is a valley called Tyrol in Austria. There is a picture of the beautiful Tyrolese valley, which is covered with flowers. Flowery means covered with flowers, and bell means where musical bells can be heard. So the pictures are beautiful. They show beautiful things of nature, and there is a picture of Shakespeare. There is a picture in which morning sky is shown as cloudless. There is a picture in which there are domes of buildings which represent the civilized world. Build flowery Tyrolese valley. There is a picture of Tyrolese valley which is beautiful and which is covered with flowers, and where we can hear musical bells. Open-handed map, awarding the world its word. There is also a map which is described as open-handed. Open-handed means generous, means giving something freely. A person who gives things freely with open hand. So the map is described as open-handed. Open-handed map awarding the world its word. The world is open-handed, the world is generous. So it is awarding the world its word. Awarding the world its word. What means the word has been used two times. Awarding the world its word. And award means give something as a gift. Awarding the world its word. So this map, this open-handed map is giving the word of these children. Awarding the word means the first word means the word of the children. The open-handed map is awarding the word of the children its own word. Means it is not actually awarding. It is awarding, it is giving its own word as a gift, symbolically. Okay. So since the word map is put up on the wall, it is like a symbolic gift to these children. The word of the map is given to these children as a gift. And yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world. Although the map of the world is awarding the world, is awarding the children's world its own world, but the reality is that for these children, these windows, not this map, is their world. Try to understand this. For these children, the map of the world that is shown on the wall is irrelevant. It is meaningless for these children, because these children will never get to enjoy this world. What is their world? What is the world of the children? The world as shown in the map is not the world of their children. The dirty and unpleasant surroundings of the slum is the world of these children. These windows means the world in which they live, that is the slum, the dirty and unpleasant place that is called slum, is the world of these children. These windows, not this map. This map that shows beautiful things is not the world of these children. They are meaningless, they are irrelevant for these children. The world of these children is the dirty and unpleasant surroundings of the slum, where all their future is painted with a fall. What kind of world this is? This is the world where the future of these children is painted with a fog, with fog. What means painted with a fog? Their future is painted with a fog. It means the fog represents uncertainty and hopelessness. When something is painted with a fog, when the future is painted with a fog, it means that there is no hope, there is no certainty in the future. It is full of problems, full of hunger and poverty. So, in their world of the slum, their future is painted with poverty, hunger, and problems. That is why the poet describes their world as their future as painted with fog, where all their futures painted with a fog, a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. Here the poet calls their future as a narrow street. Their future is compared with narrow street, sealed in with a lead sky. Lead is a color that means light grey color, and grey represents dull and dark thing. It means the same thing as foggy. Foggy means uncertain, without hope, and lead also represents hopelessness and despair and hunger. So these children's future is like a narrow street that is sealed, that is closed from outside with a lead sky, with uncertainty, despair and hunger. These children's future, there is no future in the life of these children. Their future is not bright. It is full of poverty, and it can be compared with a narrow street which is sealed with a lead sky. Far, far from rivers, caves and stars of words. These children's world is very far from the beautiful world of the civilized world. In their world, there is Shakespeare, there are schools, there are valleys, beautiful valleys, flowers and bells. And these children's world is far away from that world. Far, far from rivers, caves and stars of words. Far from these children's world is very far from the beautiful things of nature. That is rivers, caves and stars of words. Caves means highland that sticks out into the sea. एक ऊंची जगह हाईलैंड जो समुंदर के अंदर थोड़ा सा अंदर लटकी हुई होती है, उसको कहते हैं स्टिकिंग आउट. दिस इज केप इज अ हाईलैंड दैट स्टिक्स आउट इनटू द सी. It presents a beautiful picture. So the world of these children is far away from the beautiful sights of nature, the beautiful rivers, caves and stars of words. Here stars of words means light of knowledge. In the world of these children there is no school, there is no good school, and they will never, there is no good school, there is no good school, so they are far away from the light of knowledge. Okay. Okay, my dear students, I think this only 2 stanzas are enough for today. We will continue, we will take up the next stanza in the next session. Thank you very much.